Alright, hey guys, so we're going to be doing some spin pull today. So this one's going to be more of a beginner-intermediate, so just showing and working on our basic spin pull moves since it might have been a while, or just starting to work on them and then building on those foundations. So we'll do a few combos as well as just working on the spins themselves. So this is going to include a warm-up. So I'll have you guys start with some arm circles. So I'll take the arms down by your sides, circle the shoulders just first. Good, now go forward. Really lift them high and around. Good, let's start to make it bigger. Good, now go back all the way. Good, so we're gonna reach all the way up and then back. So keep it there, inhale up and back. Inhale up and back. One more, inhale up and back. Now open out to the sides and cross. Good, let's take a nice wide stance and circle one arm like you're trying to make it nice and heavy, pulling the arm into a circle, and other side. Good. Both hands on the knees, rock side to side. Turn one shoulder down and switch. Switch. Good. Reach to the floor, straighten your legs. Bend your knees and then roll it all the way up. Okay, so now we'll warm up through our hips and legs. So you can grab the pole, then your inside leg is going to go forward and back. So try and make sure this is a nice light swing. So you're using some momentum. Good, so now same leg, just turn to face the pole. And that leg goes now across and to the side. Good, so now same leg, tap it back and then lift it up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Other side. So inside leg swings front and back. Turn to the side and side to side. Try to keep your hip down, so when you swing it, this hip stays down and doesn't lift up, right? So down. You can even use your hand to make sure that you know that it's not moving. Good, and then tap it back and lift. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, last one, come to the front. Inhale up, sink it down. Once again, hands to the knees. And then all the way up. Inhale up, all the way down, and up. One more time. Inhale up, down, and roll it up. Okay, so let's get into our spin pull. Make sure that you've put your pull on spin and it's ready to go. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is our fireman and double attitude. So we're going to be taking our outside leg, hook the pole. This time you have to brace a little bit more because the pole's spinning, and you don't have to push off as much, right? So hook the pole, one arm up, other arm across your body. So same arm as leg is across. We're going to push off just a little bit. First take your back leg behind the pole to make fireman spin, and then we'll take it off and turn it back to do double attitude. So from here we push off, fireman, and then take it off for double attitude. Okay, so with this one, if your double attitude turns to be more behind the calf or the knee, that's okay. Just working on keeping the stability is really the most important part. And then also if your hand, it pulls you in a little bit and your forearm touches the pole, that's okay as well. So we're going to do 3 of these on each side. Start with fireman and then turn it into a double attitude. Make sure you set your shoulder so as you reach up, you're pulling your shoulder in towards your back so that you feel your shoulder blade come down and secure on your back. So step, fireman, and double attitude. Good. So take your time to do those 3 on each side, and then we're going to move on. All right, so we're going to go into our back hook. So this time, your same arm as leg is planted or across the body. Then the opposite arm is up and that same leg is extended back. From here, you're going to move backwards and hook your inside leg and hold that pose as you spin around. So sometimes on spin pole, your tendency for this spin is to want to step and then turn inside and hook your leg. So although that's an option, your back leg is not going to be as smooth as it comes around because then it kind of has to adjust. So try and keep this one where you're going to step with your outside foot. So you would step inside, then outside, then you would continue to turn so that you would fall back into it naturally, and your legs have a nice smooth entry into the spin. So same thing, we'll do this 3 times on each side. Okay, so moving on from our back hook, we'll come back over and start with our angel spin. So this one is more so done only on spin pull, although it can be done on static, usually with some material so that you can slide around a little bit more. So with this one, you're going to hook your inside leg, push forward, and we'll start it with 2 hands on top. With this one, you want to make sure you're going to really bend and lean out to the side so that your body is as far out to the side as possible. So we'll hook the inside knee about hip height or even a touch higher if you can come up onto the balls of your feet. From there, one arm across, other arm is extended. This time not too high, so don't pull yourself in. Come a little bit lower, start to move forward. So think about kissing your knee and then lift the back leg, thigh to the pole. Let's repeat, other side. So to come down out of this one, you can take your back leg and just put it down, or you can take your back leg, bring it forward so that both feet come off and you come down. Almost like you're ending in a chair spin. Let's do that one more time, other side. Okay, so now we'll start to play around with a few different options with your angel spin. So the first one that we'll do is the twisted. So you're going to take your top arm off and reach back. So your top arm releases and you're twisting towards the back. You can always bend your back knee and reach for your foot. Let's do that same thing on the other side. Okay, so that's one of the first variations. So the next one that we'll do is you're coming down, so taking it more into an apprentice spin. So your top hand stays and your bottom hand comes down. You have to adjust your arms so they're a little bit lower, and then from there we'll play around with a tuck and then a lengthened position. So same entry, hook, push forward. From there, bottom arm comes down and you adjust your arms a little bit lower. From here, you can tuck your legs in, tuck your head in, and then extend. Tuck and extend. Now the options to come out of that one are a little bit different. You can place your hand on the floor like I did and stop the spin to come out, or you'd have to work on climbing yourself back up and then doing the same thing that we have been doing, put your bottom foot down. Alright, so those are all your angel spin variations. Next we'll work on different pencil spin variations. So pencil spin requires a little bit more stability through your core. So we'll work on that a little bit more, and the arms are bent. So your inside hand will be at head height, and then your outside hand is going to come just above that. You're going to pull down, bend your elbows, shoulders down, squeeze, and now think of coming into a hollow body where you pull your belly button towards your spine tuck, squeeze your butt, and reach your toes towards the floor. So it looks like this. You'll step with your inside foot, turn to face the pole, pull down, and you'll lift off from there. Try and make it nice and smooth, as opposed to step, turn, and then pull and hop up. You want to think step, turn, pull, lift. And then lower down. Your goal is to go around one full time, and then you just build it up from there. So think elbows bent, shoulders down, a little bit of a rounding to your back, but just slightly so that you can pull up and in. So that will happen naturally, and then pull your belly button up, squeeze your butt, reach those toes towards the floor. So I'll continue to demonstrate, and you can continue to work on them for a few more rounds. So inside arm, about head height. Outside arm a little bit higher. Okay, so now we'll work on a few variations. So the arms are going to stay the same, they're just going to be stacked on top of each other. And then now we'll do a few different leg changes as well as body position. So now we can start to differentiate and arch your back so that your body's against the pole and your legs are behind you. Or we can start to curl under more and bring the legs in front. So the first one we'll do is just a star. So the legs are going to come wide instead of being together. This will be a little bit easier to get the legs there, but a little bit harder to keep the balance so that you don't turn to one side. So step, pull down, legs wide. So it looks a little bit like Mary Poppins. That's what I call this one. So step, pull down, out. Good. All right, so for the next one, we're going to be placing your torso against the pole, and your legs will still be wide, but they're going to be more coming to the back. So you have to use your butt a little bit more. So this one will be, you'll feel it more in your back and in your butt, as opposed to in your front core. So we'll step, turn to face the pole. Your body will come against, and you'll take your legs back. The legs can be either straight or a little bit bent. So this one requires a little bit more. Think your shoulder blades are coming together and you're doing a slight lift of your chest. So it does take a little bit more to figure out how to set this one up. But from there, because we're using so much of our back, it can be a little bit easier to hold. So other side, step, turn towards the pole, place your body on. Good. So we'll do it a little bit faster. Good. So now the complete opposite of that one, we'll bring the legs forward and do a boomerang spin. So hands are stacked. You don't have to get your hips off of the pole. They can be against, but you're working towards finding, just like your pencil spin, having the legs a little bit, or your body a little bit further away, and your legs forward. So try and get the legs about hip height. A little bit lower is okay, but working towards hip height. So step, pull down, same thing, lift up through your center, tuck the hips a little bit more so you can get the legs forward. So this one might be a little bit harder to hold, so just work on it one round at a time. That one is so tough. All right, I think we're almost ready to move on from our pencil spin variations. So, what we're gonna do now is come up into a basic climb. So let's work on the foundations for how to climb on the spin pole with both legs coming up. So when you're climbing at first, right, you always use one leg, then you'll come up and step up with your other leg. You can still do that on the spin pole, and that's totally fine. So you'll step up, push off, and then just make sure the pole is spinning. Then you come all the way up, and come all the way back down. But today we're gonna work on getting the legs up and to the pole at the same time, nice and smooth. So, right arm up. We're going to step with the right leg. Take your left leg out and around. It's going to come to the front, and your right leg's going to pull up to the back. Let's do it. So step, reach up, around, pull, and lift. Hold, come all the way up, and all the way back down, both legs off at the same time. So, as you're coming up and back down, you can use your forearm, but at the beginning, let's work on just using the arms and your core to lift the legs, not the forearm, or your hands, and then your core. So let's go through it again. Step, come around, pull, up. All the way up. And forearm can come here as you place and take the legs back off. Okay, so we're going to go through this a fair amount of times. So just start to continue to build on it. Work on getting your legs moving at the same time. And then start to work on pointing your toes as well. So we'll do this about 4 or 5 times on each side. Just keep going. just to review a few tips when you're climbing and trying to make sure that you're not going too fast when you start to spin. Just as you saw with my reaching, you just want to make sure that you're really pushing your hips back away from the pole and reaching up when you're going to go into the next climb, or just when you come up in general. The more you keep your arms tight and you add more resistance and squeeze against the pole, it's going to spin much faster and it'll be a lot harder to control. So we'll go over that one more time. So think of just keeping your arm movements a lot bigger. So like you're swinging back and up as opposed to holding and just climbing from there. So reach up, come, climb, hold, maybe even take that arm off, then pull down to lift up. Other arm can come up, slide it back down, and take it up. The more you start to work with higher, right, more height, the more that foundation or doing that is going to help, because you'll be able to climb quicker as well as more efficiently. So we're going to finish off today with doing several different climb to sit exercises. So we'll do climb to basic sit, climb to a extended sit, climb to a basic layback, and as well as climb to a figurehead and a side sit. So we'll start to build on those combos, and then in part 2 of your spin pole kind of reintroduction with these videos, then we'll start to work and add more to the combination. Alright, so we'll start with our basic climb into a sit. So think open the legs, bend both knees, and sit. You can always try and reach one arm down. So one arm can be in your elbow, or the top arm can stay extended. And we'll also work on our dismounts. So a really nice way to dismount is doing bicycle legs to come down. But another way would be to just take your legs off, still hold with both arms. Take your legs off and just make them nice and pretty, hold a shape, and then come all the way down. Okay, we'll do this on the other side. So climb opposite way, hold, pull up, come into your sit, try and cross the opposite leg. From here you would hold a shape, reach up, and slowly come off. Good. Okay, so we'll do that one more time on each side. Okay, so the next one we'll do is coming into an extended sit. So we're going to reach back with one arm and reach the legs as far forward as we can. So you slide your top hand down and really reach back. Think of lifting your hips and reach the toes. Good. So the more that you can lift slightly with your hips so that the toes and your chest can reach up, the stronger it'll be to hold just with one hand. The option, which I'll show now, is you can take the arm that's reaching, and if it's a little bit, or you're not as steady with it, take it underneath your hips. So grab the pole underneath where you're sitting, and it's called tabletop. So that's the one that J-Lo did in that Super Bowl show. So we'll go through it now. It's actually a little bit easier than the one that we just did. So slide your top hand down, reach down, and bottom arm comes underneath your hips. All right, so that's the extended sit. So now we'll do a lay back. So we're going to cross one leg over, reach for the ankle, and start to tilt back. So you don't have to come all the way back on that one. You can just work on finding the leg position, tilt back a little bit, and then go from there. So as you continue to work on your layback, spin will help with the momentum and being able to hold it. But yeah, it'll definitely take some time just to feel comfortable with sitting all the way back. So the last one we'll do is climb to inside leg hook, which will bring us into figurehead, and then also a side sit. So we'll take it into a climb first. From here, you'll come up and think of pushing with your inside or outside arm. And then from here, you'll switch, pull the inside leg through. Your bottom leg will be under. And then you'll turn and rotate your hips so that you can put your bicep on the pole. From here, you can start to sit back and eventually come into a side sit variation. Okay, so we'll do that a few more times on each side. So just think of it like you're going to help push to feed your leg through. Now, a couple different options you can do to make it a little bit more fluid or easier. You climb with your opposite leg in the back. So if I'm climbing with my left arm, I'm going to put my right leg in the back so that it will stay there, and I'm just going to take my left leg from the front to the inside. And it'll be a little bit easier to make that transition. Okay, so I'll show that. So it just feeds through. Then you pull up to figurehead. And you can sink it back down into a side sit. So you don't have to go nearly as fast. You can slow it right down so that you're barely pushing off. You're just lightly spinning around. All right, so we got one more round with that one. Alright, so that concludes the part 1 to our beginner to intermediate spin pole moves. And then we'll start to work on some combos with the other video coming next. Alright, so we're going to stretch it out. Face the pole, reach all the way down. And pull it all the way up. Good. Shake it out. Roll the shoulders. Let's inhale all the way up. Reach back to the pole. Reach the arms. Pull it in, reach the hands behind your back, come forward. Roll it up. Then step the feet, so keep the hands where they are, step the feet a little bit wider. Think of squeezing through the shoulders. So roll them back and down, and just stay there, or push your hips a little bit further forward. Good, release, shake it out. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next one.